Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us. We've got a windy Wednesday around New Zealand. We've got snow falling and the temperatures may not drop as much as you might think though. Let's take a look and see what's going on. Big southwesterly winds blowing across the country. They're westerly to begin with in the north. They'll be turning more southwest across the day. Pretty windy in these northern areas. Northland, Auckland, Coromandel Peninsula, Great Barrier Island. They are all looking at getting gales at some point. Also quite blustery around Wellington and Wairarapa with a few showers that have been coming through there. Let's take a closer look at the winds today. So the areas that are shaded, those are the gusts. The wind barbs, or the sort of little wind pointing arrows, that's the average wind speed. Might be a little hard to see, but around Auckland, those wind barbs, they're in the green and yellow area, so averaging 30 or 40 k's. But the areas that are shaded, those are the big gusts in brown and purple. 90, 100, 110 k's an hour. So that's mostly at sea, but it does come through the Auckland region, around Great Barrier, northern parts of Coromandel, and some exposed parts of Northland as we go through today. The winds then ease overnight. So as we go through Thursday, it is still a windy day in many regions, but it's not as bad as Wednesday was. So a blustery day, but not quite as bad. We've got rain on the west coast. We've got showers in Southland and snow falling. It's a colder than average day in Southland and Otago on Thursday, but everybody else pretty much where they should be. By Friday, high pressure is building out here to the west. We've still got the southwest flow. That means eastern areas are mostly dry. Western areas still have some showers, and it's still a little bit cold down here in Southland and Otago, although not as cold as Thursday, and you'll start to feel a little bit more warmth coming in around the outer edges of that high. In fact, into the weekend, the high comes in even closer on Saturday, the wind flow coming more and more out of the north for Southland and Otago. So things do start to warm up into the weekend. Now by Sunday, the high is across the North Island. So a bit of a cool night, and then a fairly mild afternoon on the way, and mild for the South Island as subtropical winds start to develop. Might have noticed a low out here as well. More heavy rain warnings are going to be put up for the eastern side of Australia and Queensland and New South Wales. It's another big rain event on the cards for them. Once we get into next week, and by the way, that's still not 100% locked in for Australia, but certainly the data is suggesting more heavy rain. Once we get into next week for New Zealand, the high is actually in control for a couple more days. It slinks out a little bit to the east, but it does push back against that low. So the low may not be sort of straight coming on into the country. We still need to work that out a little bit. You can find more information in our 10-day forecasts that cover next week. That's all from me for today. We'll update you again on Thursday.